to welcome to the Live at 5 my esteemed business partner, Asta Sanders. And Asta is many, many things, an outside-the-box thinker. She is a complete professional and has a great sense of humor. And I thought, what better influence around a topic like budgeting than to invite Asta to share with us her expertise and her humor. So Asta, take it away.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today on Facebook Live. And we will be talking about budgeting. So before we dive into all different ways that we can do that, I would like to share with you just a quick joke about budgeting. An old man and his wife go to the fair. They come across a stunt helicopter ride. The old man watches in awe as this helicopter does flips and other tricks. I'd love to go do that, says the man. But dear, says his wife, it's $50 and I want your retirement money to last. You're right, honey. And the man leaves. They go to the fair again the following year. Again, the helicopter ride is there. The old man looks at his wife with longing in his eyes. $50 is $50, says his wife. He hangs his head and they leave. This goes on for a couple of years, and each time his wife says, $50 is $50. Then one year the helicopter pilot noticed the couple and walks over to them. I've seen you two look at my ride every year and never get on it. Why not? Well, sir, the price is a bit steep for our budget. Well, in that case, how about we make a deal? The old man looks quizzically. I'll take you up there for free. But the catch is, you can't say a word. One yip or yell, and you have to pay up. The man looks at his wife, then back to the pilot. Deal. And his wife sighs. The old man had a blast. The ride made him feel like a kid again. It was amazing. But he didn't make one peep. Back on ground, the pilot says, wow, I really tried make you scream or say something, but you earned it, fair and square. The old man shrugged. Yeah, I almost said something when my wife fell out, but $50 is $50. So let's see how we can put your budget together so you can spend those $50 on some things that you enjoy, and hopefully you don't have to have your loved ones fall out of helicopter.
You're the best, Asta. Go for it.
So there are a lot of different ways that you can track your budget. There are software such as mint.com, which is free, and it allows you to link your credit card accounts and your bank checking accounts into one software, and it will download all the activity you have into that software. You have to categorize your expenses, but for the most part, it does everything for you. There are also some paid versions, such as You Need Your Budget, or also QuickBooks have paid version, but you really don't need software if you don't want to use that. I prefer to use just simple spreadsheet, Excel spreadsheet, and that's what I use for my budget. Or if you don't have a computer, if you don't have a Excel, you can even use a notebook and write the same things as we will be showing on Excel spreadsheet and just track it in your notebook. So now I would like to show you the spreadsheet which I use, and it is very, very helpful. So when you track the budget, you need to look at two things. You need to look at your income and also at your expenses. So the first green row, as you see, it says income. And this spreadsheet is family budget. If you are single, you might have different budget. And it's very easy to, if you're gonna use Excel, it's very easy to make it applicable to your budget. So for example, I have here payroll 1 and payroll 2. If you're a single person, you simply would click on that row and you can delete that. Or if you have some other income besides payroll, or also I have here rental income, or you might have social security, or you might have pension income, you always can add rows as well. So you just click on the row and you would do insert. And then you can add whatever, let's say you're getting alimony. So you would add that and you would put whatever amount is there. So this way also, as you see here under payroll, we always put the net income, which is whatever you get after all the taxes get deducted and all other expenses. So basically, whatever amount comes into my checking account, or if you're still getting a check without direct deposit, whatever you get the check, that's the number you would be entering here. And this is monthly as well. So if you get paid twice a month, so then multiply that amount to have it monthly. So this way we add all these numbers up and we got our total monthly income. That's the easy part. Now let's look at expenses. So I have different categories for different kind of expenses. Typically the biggest expense is housing. So here I have different housing expenses, and I like to make a note how I pay them. For example, mortgage, I put note it's paid monthly. Then I have property taxes, which I pay quarterly. Homeowners insurance, which I pay annually. Some people, they have all these three expenses combined, like their mortgage payment includes property taxes as well as homeowners insurance. So in that case, you would not have those two rows, but I pay each separately, so I have everything there separated. Also, if you see in here in column B, I like to keep my balance, because every month when I receive statement from my mortgage company, I like to see, this is like a game, okay, how much my balance went down, and I update that on monthly basis because I just like to see my loan balances to go down. And in column C, I also put if there are some payments which don't change from month to month, so I put set payment, so I put that amount there. So as you see for property taxes, that's not a loan, but that's yearly taxes, that's how much I owe a year. And then payment, this payment, as you said, I said we pay quarterly, so the total yearly payment is divided by 4 over here. And then what's really good also, which helps you to project what your expense is going to be in different months, so you can even put for the entire year. For example, if you paid your taxes in February, so then your next payment is going to be in June, so you can put that there. So in May, you already see next month, oh, next month I have my quarterly tax payment. That means I will need more money, right? Because that's something that you pay quarterly and not on monthly basis. Next expense would be water and sewer, electric, gas, cable internet, repairs, home cleaning, landscaping, snow removal. Again, some of these, you might also have from what I like to do also, I like to compare a lot of these to previous years. So if you're just starting to follow your budget, you don't have that, but let's say next year, then you can compare these expenses to the 2020 and see where you stand. And this is where you can really make it fun and make it like a game. Okay, how can I reduce my electric? What can I do? Like sometimes you get in the mail those offers, switch to different electric company and stuff like that, which we did. Or maybe you don't have all LED lights, you can do that. And then it's so fun to compare. Oh, last year we spent this, now we save this much. And the reason we keep it monthly, because obviously you're not going to be spending the same amount on electric in January than you are in July. Because, for example, if you live in Northeast, your electric bill in July will be much higher because most likely you have the air conditioner going on. And that's what's so great about this, because you really can see where your money is going and you can even estimate. So let's say next year, you can predict approximately how much your expenses are going to be. So this way, when the time comes to pay, it's not a surprise for you anymore, because you know, oh, I will owe approximate amount of $1,000 that month or whatever that is. But you know, you are in control of your money, and your money is not controlling you, where all of a sudden you find, oops, I have $0 in my checking account and I have all these bills which still need to be paid. So the next category which I have here is transportation. And again, you can certainly personalize it. I have 2 loans, one for Honda, one for Ford, and I also like to keep those loan balances, and you can see each month again they get reduced, so you see it going down and down and down. And the very important thing about budget is really putting all the small things which so many times we forget about, especially if we pay them like only once a month or even maybe less than that. So that's why I put those little amounts like car registration renewal. You know, every year you have to do it, but you typically don't think about it. Right. But once you have here, let's say you just renewed your car registration in May, so you know you're not going to have this expense, but you can put in the next year's budget, because you know that in May it's going to come up. So each month you can have pretty good idea what your expenses are going to be. The next item, again, another loan, another renewal, car insurance. Also, depending how you pay it, like I pay biannually, so I like to put this amount here, and again, I put if I paid in January, my next payment is in July. So again, it helps you to know what those bills are going to be. Also, when it comes to car insurance, you might be paying monthly, but make sure you know how much extra you're paying by paying monthly. So typically you have extra credit added on when you pay monthly. So if you are capable of paying on annual or biannual frequency, I would really suggest doing that. Next one, we have gas, then we have oil change. That's another thing which you can easily forget because you don't do it every month. So, and I also like to track on average how many miles do I drive a year. So this way I can budget. So if I'm driving one car approximately 12,000 miles a year and I use synthetic oil, that means I need to change it about every 10,000 miles. So if I change that in January, so I know that sometime in October or November, I will need another oil change. So I can put there exactly whatever it's gonna be, $35 or whatever, and I can budget for that. Same thing for the other car. Same principle applies also to tires and brakes, because every time I change tires, what I would do, I would record, okay, my car has 100,000 miles on it, and I bought new tires, which is supposed to last for 60,000 miles. So that means, depending if I drive 12,000 miles per year, so those tires are supposed to last me 5 years. So this way, you know when that is coming up. And if you drive more than that, like we drive a lot, so you know, we really have to change tires quite frequently, and it's good to know when those changes need to be made and when the bills are gonna come. Same thing applies to brakes, and I also add here other repairs or tolls. Our next expense is food, so here you keep a track of groceries and dining out, whatever those bills are. And now we're moving into loans. And depending what kinds of loans you have, again, you can personalize and add extra lines or remove lines. So I have personal loans, student loans, and I have all credit cards here. When it comes to credit cards, it's also very important that, let's say if you have your utilities, let's say your gas is paid by credit card, so make sure you deduct that amount from this amount, and because you already accounted for that under housing, so you don't add this expense twice. Insurance, again, depending on what kind of insurance you have, you might have health, you might have that with an employer, so then you wouldn't put it here. You might have life insurance, long-term care, or any other insurance. The next big expense, if you have a family and you have children, you know, they cost a lot. So that would be kids. So here you would put childcare expenses, or once they older, activities or tutoring or camps. Any expenses that relate to children would go in this, under this category. The next one is personal care. So medical, that would be if you have any co-pays or anything like that, or you buy vitamins or any other stuff which goes towards your health. And next item would be hair, nails, clothing, dry cleaning, health club. You really can personalize that based on what you are spending. The next one is entertainment. So here you would put all your Netflix, movies, concerts, sporting events, live theater, vacations. Those are your entertainment bills. If you have pets, that would be your next expense category. Now we're getting to gifts and donations. That's another one which gets forgotten quite frequently. So if you know like how many people you giving birthday gifts, you can even put here like, oh, okay, my aunt is on March 20th, my niece is in May, and somebody else's birthday is in August. So this way you can know exactly and budget for how much all those gifts are gonna cost you. Wedding gifts, you probably don't have that many of them, but you should account for them, because if you do have few weddings, that can be pretty expensive. Holiday gifts, that's another one, very, very important one. And hopefully under the loan balance, you might enter whatever amount you're thinking that you're gonna spend, whatever it is, $1,000. And then you also should make sure that you don't go over that. As you buy gifts for your family or friends or whoever you buy gifts for, make sure you log all those expenses and you don't go over that budget, because I don't know about you, but there is nothing worse to me when it comes January or February and you get that credit card bill and you go, OMG. It thought like, yeah, you just spent $25 here, $30 there, but when you look at the balance, it's huge. So you don't want those surprises. So please keep track of it. You also will put your charity donations here. And the last category is taxes. And this also, most likely, if you are an employee, most of the taxes are deducted from your paycheck, but it's possible that you might owe some taxes at the end of the year in April, so you would put those amounts here, or you might be paying quarterly estimated taxes, so those amounts will go in here too. So now we add up all the taxes, all the expenses, and we see, okay, this month we spent $6,383. And absolutely the most important line in this entire spreadsheet is the red one. Do we have a surplus or do we have deficit? And hopefully at the end of the month, you have a surplus. And if you have a deficit, so then we need to work on that. Also, as you have those months where like you have those expenses which are paid quarterly or biannually, you know that those months you're going to spend more than the other months. So if you have one month where you're not paying those extra quarterly or annual expenses, this money should be allocated to those months when you will need more money because of those extra expenses. And after you keep this for at least a year, then you can do more or less on yearly basis. Then you can see, okay, this is approximately how much I spend a month, and you can adjust which month you need more. And you also can even estimate like your electric and your gas and all those bills you can estimate. So the more, even though they estimates, but you still at least you have a pretty good idea what your budget is. So, and what's in it for you, it just, you don't have surprises, because as it is, life is so unpredictable. I'm sure most of you could not predict that, you know, we will be sitting home for a month, locked up and not going anywhere out, and feel like we can't control things, we can't control what's outside. But if we can control at least our finances, that will give you peace of mind, and it will be a lot easier to deal with those other things which we can't control. So that's about it from me today about budgeting. And I would like to let Debra talk, if she would like to, about if you have surpluses, what do you do with that?
Exactly. Well, Asta, you couldn't have been more clear in terms of just giving us the framework. And in a moment, we're going to give you the website that you can visit to get this very Excel spreadsheet. If you don't have Excel on your computer, you could do some kind of transcribing it to whatever package and program or pen and pad that you want to use. Yet I want to add to that the exercise that we often give clients, and that is cash slips through our fingers, right? We can typically take out our credit card statements and discern, okay, this was electric, that was a travel, airfare, and so forth. But that cash slips through our fingers. So we like to suggest that people put a small little Post-it note, like this size of one, right, in their wallet or purse or whatever they're carrying around, maybe on your cell phone, the back of your cell phone, there's a little packet for something to slip into, and write those cash expenses down for 30 consecutive days. Now, this sometimes is exasperating. People are like, that is like such a ridiculous request. Here's what it results in. Here's what's so great about doing that, as painful as it is. You're going to write, and not now because we're not going out for lattes and coffee and so forth, or parking tolls and so forth. Many people have Easy Pass, but anything that you're paying cash for, a sandwich, newspaper, in our normal routine of activities of daily living, you're going to write it down and then take this Post-it note and affix it to a piece of 8.5 by 11 paper. And so when you run out of lines, start a new one. And then after 30 days, you're going to tally that and just put it into the expense categories that Asta has put on this Excel spreadsheet. And that's going to give you then the most accurate picture, because dovetailing the cash expenses with those which are otherwise identifiable from your checking accounts or your credit cards is going to give you that whole picture. And what's great about having the whole picture? Control, just like Asta said. I don't know about you, but if you're languishing with a health issue that's obviously there's something wrong, right? You can't put your finger on it. And I have a ton of friends that have gone to doctors for weeks and sometimes months on end, and no one's able to identify it. The harrowing feeling that that evokes within a person is unbelievable. Just don't, one, you think you're like losing it, and two, you don't know what to do next, right? So what we know about fear is that if we find ourselves in a state of paralysis, the way to move ourselves out of that paralysis, which is a horrible feeling, is to take little action steps. And every little action step that one takes builds their confidence. And soon you will also see budgeting as your key to your freedom. It's not your handcuffs, it's your freedom. Because once you get your arms around this, you'll say to us, holy camoli. I mean, I had a guy decades ago come in and he said, that exercise was harrowing. Writing those expenses down for 30 days, it drove me nuts. But after about the third day, I started to smile when I wrote those down because I could see. And he said, within 4 days, I had given up cigarettes. Now, these are the kinds of changes that you'll make. It's not about us. We're not going to judge you for what you're spending money on, but you'll be able to carve out money. Why? To sacrifice for nothing? Nonsense. How about sacrificing some of those expenses, which probably if I took your Amazon receipts for the past year, you might not be able to even tell me what you ordered because they were kind of like impulse purchases and they were used up and you don't even have a good feeling about it. See, that's what we're trying to get to. Let's get our feelings and our money in congruence so that we can, whatever you need to fill in the blank with, whatever you want to fill in the blank with. So we're going to have another session where we're going to have just unleash a ton of fun around this. We're going to put down our goals. We're going to budget the number of dollars that we think are going to take the goal. So if you've always been thinking about this travel experience or that painting that you want to buy or redoing your bathroom, whatever it is, or retiring with enough money so that you don't fear running out of money, whatever it is, and the confluence of all those, we're going to put them all into the basket and then have a game, make a game out of it, out of solving the mysteries, if you will. So if you would like to get this Excel spreadsheet, please go to empoweredretirement.com. That's empoweredretirement.com/resources. And you'll get a copy of the Excel as well as some additional information. So we welcome you to do that. And if you found this helpful, share it with some of your friends, because there's nothing worse than being flat-footed and then having money concerns accompany that. So the surprise of it is shocking. But now we can do something with it. We can do something with the time. We can be creative and be empowered. And of course, our firm is called Empowered Retirement. No sense in waiting till retirement. Let's be empowered right now. Until next time, we will wish you the best. Stay healthy and stay smart.